India, a place of rich culture, art and heritage. And dance is one of the divine concepts of this epitome of heritage and art. In the early era, dance used to be performed in the ritual of worships, but eventually for cultural attributes, it started holding in theatres and for entertainment. There are 8 different forms in Indian classical dance. Bharatnatyam rests on principle of performance and an aesthetic set down in classics such as Bharatnatyam. The music of Bharatnatyam belongs to the Carnatic system of southern India. The musicians accompanying a dance recital include at least one vocalist, a mridangam player, and a flutist or violinist or even a veena player. Bharatnatyam is all about a wide range spanning human and divine love and are generally classed under the rubric of Shringara and Bhakti. Bharatnatyam grew rapidly after India gained independence from British rule in 1947. Rukmini Devi, Padma Subramaniam, Alarmil Valle, Yamini Krishnamurti, Mallika Sarabhai were some of pioneers of this dance form.
Ta ha ta ri ta da da na ta ta da ri ta da na ta ja nu da ri ki ta ta ka ri ta 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 ri ta 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 na ta 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 ri ta ta na Chanu, Tarikida Takaka, Ta, Tarita, Tatanata, Tatari, Tatana, Tachanu, Tarikida Taka, Tom, Tataritom, Tatanatom, Tatari, Tatana, Tachanu, Tatom, Tataritom, Tatana, Tating, Ginatum, Taka, Tating, Ginatum, Taka, Tiku, Tating, Tarikida.
Kathak is one of the main genres of ancient Indian classical dance. The roots of this dance form trace back to Sanskrit Hindu text on performing arts called Natya Shastra, written by ancient Indian theatrologist and musicologist Bharata Muni. It is presumed that the first complete version of the text was completed. This dance form is all about to communicate stories through rhythmic foot movements, hand gestures, facial expressions, and eye work. This is one of the performing art that incorporates legends from ancient mythology and great Indian epics, especially from the life of Lord Krishna, and thereby became quite popular in the courts of North Indian kingdoms. During the 20th century, as training and practice of Kathak increasingly received the support of public institutions, choreographic work involving groups of dancers has claimed more space in Kathak practice. The music of traditional Kathak consists of the thumri and other lyrical song forms, and the essential musical instruments are the tabla, pankhavaj and sarangi. The sitar and other plucked strings are also associated with Kathak performed today. There are 3 specific genres of this dance form: the Jaipur Gharana, the Banaras Gharana and the Lucknow Gharana. Shambhu Maharaj, Sundar Prasad, Mohan Rao Kalyanpurkar, Birju Maharaj, Damayanti Joshi, Sitara Devi were some of the biggest names in the world of Kathak.
ODISSI. Odissi dance has its origins in Odisha in eastern India, where in its rudimentary form it was performed as part of temple service by Maharis or female temple servants. This is one of the pre-eminent classical dance forms of India. This dance form includes themes from Vaishnavism and other associated with Hindus gods and goddesses like Shiva, Surya and Shakti. This traditional dance was remolded as a theatre art towards the middle of the 20th century with references not only to the existing dance art but representation of dance in Odisha medieval sculpture, painting and literature. The unique feature of this dance form is that it incorporates Indian ragas both from south and north that indicate exchange of concepts and performance arts between the two parts of India. Shokabardi, Karnata, Bhairavi, Dhanashri, Panchama, Shri Gauda, Nata, Baradi and Kalyana are the main ragas of Odissi. The music instruments include tabla, pakhavaj, harmonium, cymbals, violin, flute, sitar and swarmandal. The Odissi maestros who revived the art form in the late 1940s include Kelucharan Mohapatra, Raghunath Datta, Deba Prasad Das, Pankaj Charan Das and Gangadhar Pradhan. Other famous exponents include discipline of Kelucharan Mohapatra, namely Sanjukta Panigrahi, Sonal Mani Singh and Kumkum Mohanty, Aruna Mohanty, Anita Babu and Adya Katikar to mention a few.
Manipuri dance is one of the major classical dance forms of India. Manipuri dance evolved in Manipur in northeastern India. The roots of the Manipuri Ras Leela dance, as with all classical Indian dances, is the ancient Hindu Sanskrit text Natya Shastra, with influences and the culture fusion between various local folk dance forms. Manipuri dance is introverted and restrained compared to most other dances of India. The performers never establish eye contact with the audiences. The movements are circular and continuous, each merging into the other. Mudras, hand gestures and facial expression are subtly absorbed and never exaggerated in the flow of the movement. The musical instrument generally used in this art form includes the pang, that is, a barrel drum, cymbals or kartals, harmonium, flute, pena and sembong, and the accompaniments of include a singer. Rabindranath Tagore rekindled the Manipuri dance art in a new way. He was so fascinated with the performance of the dance composition of Ghoshta Leela in Silhet in 1919 that he offered Guru Buddhimantra Singh, an ace Manipuri dancer, to join the faculty of Shanti Niketan. An eminent Manipuri performer includes Guru Bipin Singh, his disciple Darshana Jhaveri and her sisters Nayana, Ranjana and Suvarna, Charu Mathur and Devyani Chalya among others.
Kuchipudi is a dance and drama performance. Originates from a village named Kuchipudi in the Indian states of Andhra Pradesh. This dance form is known because of its fast move, lively eye expressions, hand gesture, among some of the other factors. It is a mixture of the laya of the Tandava dance form and of the lasya or the slow movement in dance speed. Like other classical dance forms, this dance form is also taken to have emerged from Natya Shastra. This also constitutes of the three components of Nritya, Nritta and Natya. This text constitutes of almost 6,000 verses. Kuchipudi combines speech, abhinaya and pure dance. The Kuchipudi dancer is a multiple person on the stage, and this multiplicity is achieved by the swift change of mime, which depends more on the combination of the naturalism of the dramatic content and the symbolism of the poetic intensity of feeling of an episode. The Kuchipudi performance usually begins with an invocation. The traditional Kuchipudi was performed by all male troupe. A dancer in a male role would be in Agni Vastra, also known as Bagal Bandi, wear a dhoti, and a dancer in a female role would wear a sari with light makeup. The popularity of Kuchipudi has grown within India and it is performed worldwide. Some of the pioneers of Kuchipudis are Mallika Sarabhai, V. Satyanarayan Sarma, Deepa Sashidharan, Vedantam Ramilanga Sastri, K.V. Satyanarayana, Shantala Shivalingappa and others.
Takita janu tatta dhanat janu takita janu tade dhanat janu takita janu tangrata targata janu dhanat janu tadum dhanat janu takita janu tam dhanat di tadi dhanat di tam dhanat janu tadi mitakita taka janu tam taka janu tam.
Kathakali is another major form of classical Indian dance. This is a form of story play dancing which took place in Kerala in southern India. Kathakali's roots are unclear. The fully developed style of Kathakali originated around the 17th century, but its roots are in the temple and folk arts. The characters of Kathakali do not speak, and the story is presented through songs from the background. The traditional themes of the Kathakali are folk stories, religious legends and spiritual ideas from the Hindu epics and the Puranas. This makes Kathakali music a very important component of this art form. Kathakali categorizes its character according to their nature and employs makeup and costume to build theme up as a symbolic personality. The faces of actors are painted according to the type of character they represent. Green for heroes, kings and divinities, red and black for the evil and fears, etc. The main feature of the costume is a large billowing skirt for male characters and various elaborate headdress: Kalamandalam Gopi, Kalamandalam Krishna Prasad, Kottakkal Shivaraman, Kalamandalam Ramankutti Nayar, Kanakreli and others are the maestros of Kathakali.
Mohiniyattam is a classical dance form of Kerala in South India, which got its name from the mythic enchantress Mohini. It is dance of feminine grace and has grown out of performances connected with Kerala's temples. Mohiniyattam performers command the stage alone and follow the Lasya style of dance. This points to a more feminine and gentler set of movements. The performers' subtle changes in expressions and graceful maneuvers across the stage are hallmarks of this dance form. The performers appears to glide rather than jerk, carefully lulling the audience into a more relaxed headspace. Mohiniyattam uses rhythms that are special to Kerala. The rhythmic syllables used are those of the Maddalam, a drum which provides accompaniment for female roles in the Kathakali theatre. The main percussion instruments in the performance are the idakka. The other musical instruments are the mridangam, the veena, the flute and the kazitalam or cymbals. The musical accompaniment of Mohiniyattam dance involve what is known as cholu. The lyrics are in Manipravalam, which is a mixture of Sanskrit and Malayalam. This dance form has come a long way from being performed exclusively in temples and palaces. Today, it is a source of great pride and joy in God's own country, and regular performances can be witnessed throughout the year. Some of the famous gurus of Mohiniyattam and Jayaprabha Menon, Pallavi Krishnan, Gopika Verma, Vijaya Lakshmi, Radha Datta, Rema Shrikant and others.
पनिमति मूंगी बाल पनिमति मूंगी बाल कनिबिल्ला गयाय कामन परमियुं।
Sattriya is a dance form that is more than 500 years old and comes from the Vaishnavite monasteries of Assam, northeast India. Sattriya dances are devotional in nature as they were intended for propagation of Neo-Vaishnavism. Its highlights are intense emotional fervor, and in its solo avatar, now dramatic Abhinaya is prominent in contrast to Nritta, pure dance. It was introduced in Assam by the great Vaishnava saint and reformer of Assam, Mahapurusha Srimanta Sankaradeva, in the 15th century. A.D. Sattriya dance tradition is governed by strictly laid down principles in respect of Hastam Mudras, footworks, aharyas, music, etc. It includes Nritta, Nritya and Natya components. As Sattriya dance takes its relatively recent place among the recognized classical dances of India, it is likely that it will continue to spread not only through India but to other parts of the world. It has gone through understandable changes as it has adapted to new performers and venues, but I hope that even as it reaches new audiences, it will continue to retain much of the traditional and sacred character that the monks hope to preserve. Sattriya Nritya is accompanied by musical compositions called barkeets, which are based on classical raga. Two brilliant Sattriya dancers are Ranjumani and Rinjumani.
নিধি গোবর্ধনধারী দৈত্য দানব মর্দনকারী
গোবিন্দ গুণনিধি গোবর্ধনধারী দৈত্য দানব মর্দনকারী গোবিন্দ গুণনিধি গোবর্ধনধারী দৈত্য দানব মর্দনকারী
কালিক ঘালি হিরে বনমালী
নাসত আসত গিরি বিবিধে নাসত আসত গিরি বিবিধে মৃদঙ্গ দিনি দিনি নাদে দুন্দুবি মৃদঙ্গ দিনি দিনি নাদে দুন্দুবি চিত্ত হবে গায়ে কে 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 ভঙ্গে ভঙ্গিমা রঙ্গে রঙ্গিমা কিতা 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 ধে কিতা ধে 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 ধে.
India has a rich heritage of dance and music. In every Indian state, you can find a unique classical dance form that represents the values and traditions of the people of that state, and dance is the hidden language of the soul of the body.